Good afternoon, my veteran brothers and sisters, and anyone else who might be joining us on this particular video. This afternoon, we're going to talk about the basics of what is military space aid travel. We'll talk about some of the advantages and some of the drawbacks associated with military space aid travel. And if you stick around till the end, I'm going to leave you with some resources that can make planning your first space aid trip successful. So stick around. So what is the definition of space aid travel? Well, space available travel, according to Air Mobility Command, and I'm paraphrasing of course, is the authorized use of available seats after all space required passengers and cargo have been accommodated on military aircraft. Translation: sometimes there are seats available on some missions that are compatible with authorized veterans using those unused military seats. And so the Department of Defense, pursuant to congressional authorization under the auspices of DoD Instruction 4515.13, have made certain categories of travelers authorized to utilize those surplus seats. Again, the authority for that is DoD Instruction 4515.13, and that's a document that you can Google. It's publicly accessible online, and that is the authoritative source for who gets to travel and where. So the question becomes, why use space A at all? I'd say the biggest reason for that is the possibility of catching a flight to your destination for little or no cost. If you're flying within the continental United States or CONUS, there's pretty much going to be no costs associated with that flight, assuming you can catch it successfully on time and not be delayed in your trip. If you're flying on the Patriot Express or Rotator, there can be a head tax because those fly internationally and it's a commercially contracted flight, so the rules that govern the costs there are slightly different. And so you might be paying $30, $35, $40, depending on what the assessed head tax is. Other people like flying space available because it's an adventure. And in some ways, an adventure can be challenging. You may or may not catch your flight according to your original plan. It may be delayed. It could be canceled. In some cases, changes could require you to go to a completely unanticipated destination. And for people who have plenty of time, for retirees who also have the money to offset those costs, that's not necessarily a problem. But for somebody who's on a strict schedule, it's a totally different question. And for those that catch their flight successfully, Space Aid can save them money in those instances and allow them to apply those funds to experiences or to their lodging. It can allow them to have experiences and travel that they would otherwise not be able to have. So what are the drawbacks to space aid travel? With space aid travel, we have to keep in mind that the mission demands always come first. There are often unforeseen delays or changes to flight status that can cause space aid travelers to have to shoulder unanticipated costs for lodging and meals. These costs can add up very quickly and sometimes can exceed the costs of an equivalent commercial flight to the same destination. There are also costs in terms of time. Often an active duty service member has a limited amount of leave available to them, and it's problematic to burn leave time due to unexpected changes in travel plans or flight cancellations. So military space aid travel may not be the best option for you if your schedule is subject to strict timelines and constraints, whether for personal reasons or due to employment. There's also the question of comfort and access. If you're a disabled veteran with limited mobility, or if you're traveling with small children, traveling in a cold cargo aircraft may not necessarily be the best option for you. But it's an individual call, and it's a call that you're going to have to make for yourself. There's also the issue of uncertainty. The likelihood of mission or aircraft changes results in a level of uncertainty, and if you're on a tight budget and can't afford delays, that could be a very real challenge for you. It's often said that if you can't afford to fly commercially, you probably can't afford to fly using military space aid. You really do need to have emergency funds available or a credit card that can get you through a time in case you get stuck. So, is Space A right for you? Bottom line is, that's a question that only you can answer for yourself. But if you're just beginning to explore military Space A travel, by doing your homework, you can substantially enhance the quality of your experience. And so here are the resources that I promised you on the front end of this video. And I will put the links to these information resources down in the description of this video below. I recommend that you start with 3 specific information resources. And the first one is by becoming familiar with Air Mobility Command's website, or the AMC website. There you can find all kinds of information about space available travel, what the rules and restrictions are, and what they need from you as an individual traveler. And they also give a great overview of how to register for space available travel. Just as important, you can find the flight schedules for all AMC passenger terminals right there. Second, I recommend travelers acquaint themselves with popandsmoke.com. Stephanie is an accomplished world traveler, and she has an amazing depository of articles there about Space A travel, as well as specific destinations that can help shape you for success. So you have to check out poppingsmoke.com and become familiar with what's there. And last but not least, I would strongly advise that you look into spacea.net. There are tools and information there that can help round out your self-education and the research that you're going to need to do to be prepared for your first Space A trip. Doing your homework is what's going to allow you to have a successful experience. Again, these are just places to start to help you come up to speed on Space A travel. So if you're a beginner Space A traveler, leave me a message below. If you have specific questions, if I can't answer them, I can point you in the right direction. And alternatively, if you're an experienced Space A traveler, let me know in the comments below what your favorite destinations are, or what you like most about military Space A travel. I'd be interested in hearing from you. And finally, if you're not subscribed, please take a moment to hit the like and subscribe button, and don't forget to hit the bell so that you get an update every time we post a new video. Thanks for joining me today, and I look forward to seeing you at the next video.